Ace Podcast.
He turned just in time to see her enter the room. With her long, slender legs, they climbed high up her skirt, leading to two tumultuous
Hey guys, welcome back to the Blood and Black Rum podcast. I'm Ryan from the newsdeadworld.net. Joining my co-host Martin.
How's it going?
And we're back again with another 90s slasher film to basically to round out our 90s slasher month. This is part 4. This is the last in the announced 90s slasher films that we set at the start of this adventure. But we do have one secret one coming at you next week.
It's gonna be a doozy.
That's right. It's gonna be a little. We talked.
At least hope it is.
And we have talked about the film that we're doing on the podcast before, saying that we'd like to do it. So that's a little clue. So if you go back,
That's a bunch of movies though.
That's true. Yeah, but if you go back and you kind of do some digging, you could figure out what we're talking about because
We need an archivalist.
Yeah.
Somebody who spends the time
pointing
out everything.
This is, when you go back, this is a film that is a slasher film from the late 90s like we've been doing, and we did talk about it. So I think that pretty much narrows it down if you were to go back through. I want to say probably the first time we talked about doing it might have been during Halloween this year, Halloween 2016 when we were doing the Saw series. I feel like we said something about this film, so
it'd be interesting to see if anyone.
Yeah, go back and try to figure out what we've got and take a guess. Hit us up on Twitter or Facebook or wherever else you have access to us. You can email us at bloodandblackrumpodcast@gmail.com. Let us know what you think the secret episode for 90 Slasher Month is. But enough about that. That's for next week. Today we've got the great esteemed sequel in the Halloween franchise, Halloween H20.
20 years later.
That's right. That you gotta admit it's kind of clever. No. Halloween H20. You're right. It's not clever because why would there ever be Halloween water? There's not. No, I don't know really where someone came up with let's do H20 because that'll be it'll be intriguing.
Is it better than the proposed title?
It is better than the proposed title, which was Halloween 7.
The Revenge of Laurie Strode.
Which just is terrible. When you watch the film and you think about that could have been the name of it, it's a horrible idea. And it's a good decision that they cut that. Because...
And that's a mouthful, too.
Right. Well, I understand what they were doing with that. They were kind of doing a reversal, Revenge of Michael Myers. But at the same time, it just doesn't work because... You have, in this film, you're supposed to feel tension as Laurie runs away from Michael Myers. The whole concept of this film is to see Laurie grown up, kind of over the events of Halloween. It's 20 years later. Michael's supposedly dead. And she's supposed to be getting back to her normal life. She's trying to get back to her normal life. She's a headmistress at a high school, a private institution. She's raising a son
in California.
She's moved away from her hometown, and she's trying to start a new life. So why would it be from the outset? Why would you do the Revenge of Laurie Strode, giving away the entirety of the rest of the film? Because at that point, it's the Revenge of Laurie Strode. You have no concerns for her well-being whatsoever. It's revenge. So if she's being chased by Michael Myers, you don't really think she's in any danger. Because where's the revenge take place? If she's eventually killed off here, what kind of revenge would that be? It doesn't...
The revenge would be Ha, now everyone's dead in the family, Michael. Take that. What are you going to do now?
Yeah, you have no purpose in life. You might as well just, like, go...
And then you're going to see at the end, like, post-credits, Michael Myers just at a bar.
Very depressed, down
just
and out.
Hunched over.
Yeah,
like,
it's kind of like...
Just, like grunting at the bartender, and you're like, pours him, like, another, like, glass of whiskey, and he's like, what's eating you, buddy?
It's kind of like those stories where you have the villain who supposedly, like, vanquishes the hero,
Yeah.
and then he's kind of like, well... What do I do now? What do I do? Or you have the hero whose ultimate arch nemesis is gone. They're like questioning their life now. Like, well, what's left for me? That was it. That was my
purpose?
Yeah, that was my purpose, and now it's gone. Yeah, that would be the same thing with my. I think that's an interesting sequel, an interesting slasher film because at that point now, what does Michael do? Does he just become like this regular serial killer, or does he find a new family?
He gets a job.
Yeah, does he I think what he does
gets
is
a job, a wife has kids, you know, and but he lives his life with just the William Shatner mask on the entire time.
that would be pretty funny, like going to work, like Michael, I told you can't come to work with the William Shatner mask anymore.
Yeah, it's like, but it's a rarity now.
Yeah,
I mean, who has a William Shatner mask? Yeah,
it's true. But like I said, that's a stupid name. So I'm glad they did not go with that.
This is a stupid movie.
But it is a stupid movie. I'll admit that I never have really had a fondness for Halloween H20. Saw it a while back, and I've seen it a couple times here and there, especially when it's on TV. But I've never really had that fondness for Halloween H20 like we did with Urban Legend, which, I mean, I would say that was a fondness in a nostalgic sense where I look back and was like, yeah, I watched that quite a bit when I was younger. It used to be on, and, you know, it was a fun time. In Halloween H20, there was never really that point where...
I used to think H20 was much better than Resurrection. I'm having serious doubts
Absolutely.
now.
I mean, and even when you think of, like, Halloween 6, I'm not really sure which one's the better one at this point. All three of those, really. Halloween 6, Halloween H20, Halloween Resurrection. Like, which one is better than the other?
I remember Resurrection being really bad, like even as a kid.
But at the same time, it's pretty fun.
I know, it is pretty fun. And the idea, and the whole premise, I will say, is really good and unique, especially in 2002. You know, the whole reality TV bit.
Yeah,
way ahead of its time. So looking back, and I was like, yeah, that's pretty clever. But H20 does nothing to celebrate and like be like an ode to the franchise. Like, this was the opportunity after fucking Halloween 6 to be like, all right, we're going back to the whiteboard. We're gonna do something here really special. Like with New Nightmare.
Exactly.
And they don't do it. They totally fuck it up.
The intention with Halloween H20, and that's made apparent kind of when you look at the production behind it, was that it was supposed to be a reuniting of the people who made Halloween. And all the cast and crew behind that. Getting John Carpenter back, Jamie Lee Curtis reprising her role, and what you end up getting is nothing like what the announced idea was about. At this point, you almost don't even... First of all, you could replace Michael Myers, and you could replace the Halloween name, and you got a completely generic slasher film. You don't even need those aspects of it, and it's just complete generic slasher film. Put a different mask on and call it something else, and that's it. You've got a entirely different film. And as we'll talk about later on, which we won't get into in too much detail right now in the intro, it doesn't work. It doesn't work in the way that the early Halloween, the first two Halloweens did. And even sometimes, like, in the sequels, 4 and 5, at least, 4 and 5 are not considered very good films, but at least they are entertaining. They have Halloween in them. Like, the actual festivities surrounding Halloween are in there, which is not the case at all with Halloween H20. And, we'll talk about it in a little bit. I don't want to get too bogged down in that. But
all I can say is after watching this, you can tell this is... you can tell, like, this is just like, all right, just do Scream.
Yeah.
But let's put
exactly.
the Halloween name
Something like that. Something like Scream or it was. Even then, though, if they were trying to copy Scream, they really didn't do a good job. And
no, I know, but again, it's Miramax. It's Miramax.
Yeah, and I mean, just getting Kevin Williamson's name attached and writing a couple bits of dialogue does not make it Scream. You know what I mean? It's not. I don't know. It's just they just it all around. It's just not a very successful film, which we'll talk about a little bit later. First, let's take a break. And let's do some beer talk, because we do have a new beer on tap today.
Yeah, I don't think we've brought it up on the podcast before.
No, so we'll talk about that right after this commercial break.
It's Kevin and Jesse from Grab Them by the Pod, a member of the Ace Podcast Network.
Every episode, we discuss the latest news on Trump, Congress, and everything else in politics.
With experience in Congress, on the campaign trail, and lobbying, we bring you an unbiased look at the state of our union.
You may or may not agree with our politics, but I think you're going to like us.
Grab them by the pod.
You know you wanna.
All right, so today we've got a beer that we've never had before. I don't think we've ever had this.
We've had it before.
We have?
Not on the podcast.
No, yeah, not on the podcast. We never had this brand before on the podcast.
No, I don't think we have.
I don't think we have. We have Leinenkugels, which
Leinenkugels.
if you don't know how to say it, the pronunciation is on the can. Leinenkugels.
Well,
It says it right there. It says it's pronounced for you.
Some areas just don't have Native American names.
Yeah, they can't work through it. Which
that's what I love about people from downstate in New York, and they come up around in the Adirondacks having to say certain Mohawk and Iroquois towns and names, and the Cater-Oceris Creek.
Yeah,
it's like
Cater-Oceris. When you look at that, looks intimidating. The word looks intimidating.
Skinny Atlas.
Yeah.
Schenectady.
And Leinenkugels looks intimidating too, but it's pretty easy to figure out how the word.
I would think so. I mean, yeah.
I can't imagine many people would have an issue with that.
I mean, it's not Leinenkugel.
It almost looks German.
Yeah, no, as I was saying, to be fair, Leinenkugels isn't from New York, so
No, it's not.
So it's not like it's around here like an Iroquois.
It's
thing.
from Wisconsin.
Yeah, Wisconsin.
Actually, Chippewa, Wisconsin. Yeah. So
that would be one that would probably throw people out, like Chippewa.
Chippewa.
Yeah.
So Leinenkugels makes a number of different shandies.
They have different beers, but they're mainly known for their shandies.
They're mainly known for their shandies, and the one that we have is their classic beer, their classic summer shandy, which is a lemon shandy. And it's very prevalent around this area. We always have Leinenkugels. And I think they also, not only do they do the summer shandy, but they do a summer pack where you get kind of like a berry shandy. And you get...
Usually it has watermelon, orange, lemon.
Yeah.
And then a berry, some kind of berry shandy.
Very
I know
intriguing.
in the winter they do a cranberry ginger shandy, which I like that a lot.
Yeah.
They do in the fall a pumpkin shandy.
I
wouldn't
No,
really
not going to go out of my
way
way to get that
to
one.
try that one just
No.
because I'm kind of iffy on it.
Yeah, not a huge fan of pumpkin.
I like pumpkin beers, but I just find it
I still have a pumpkin ale from 2 years ago in my fridge.
Ooh, that's good.
Probably should just pour it. Not only is it a pumpkin beer, but it's Magic Hat too.
You should have just
throw
thrown
it out. Just throw it out. I hate to do that to
I wonder if they get Magic Hat just gets random people walking by their brewery every day going you suck!
I don't know. I just have never been a fan of Magic
Your
Hat.
number 9 is terrible.
The only one that I really do like from Magic
It's
Hat
Hex.
is the Hex. Yeah.
No, because I agree.
Same. Yeah, it's the best.
And
but
they don't even make it anymore.
yeah, they do.
I have not seen it in one of their
Yeah,
packs in forever.
They make it. It may not have been included in their last Night of the Living Dead pack, but they do make it. Sometimes it just comes out as a random 12-pack. Full of Hex.
I haven't seen it since we first got it 4 years ago.
I do love the Hex though. But that's neither here nor there. That's for an October. You know that would have been perfect though to somehow land an Oktoberfest for this episode, because here we are. It's late May. It's been 70 degrees out today. Very nice. Well, when we were watching the film and stuff, it was nice and sunny out. We barbecued, had some hot dogs outside on the grill, And then we come in and we watch Halloween H20 with a summer shandy. They don't really go together very well,
It's quite
I guess.
the juxtaposition.
Yeah. And even me, I love Halloween. I had a difficult time getting into Halloween H20 as like, ooh, it's not really the season for it, I guess. And I guess the summer shandy doesn't help either. But I do like a summer shandy. I do have preferences with summer shandies. I don't like the lemonade flavor to come out too strong because then, my favorite word, can be a little bit cloying. So I'm not a huge fan of it, like when the lemon comes out too much. But I think Leinenkugel really has this down. They really understand the balance between the lemon and the lemonade and the beer. There's a good balance there, and I think they do one of the best shandies that I've had.
Yeah, it's probably one of my favorite, just like a standard shandy. I like Leinenkugels a lot, actually. The summer shandy is definitely not my favorite, because when it comes to a shandy, I do kind of like a little bit more different taste. Like I said, I love the cranberry ginger one. I love the orange. I love like the mixed berry shandy. So I mean, I do enjoy this and like it, but I do like the other kind of different fruitier options out
Just
there.
a little bit of a change up.
Yeah. But this is great. I would drink this so much more than just a standard like summer ale.
Yeah.
Like, to me, it's lighter, it's more crisp and refreshing, and it's got a better balance between like the beer and the lemon citrus that most summer ales try to go for.
Yeah, and I think
and mainly when I'm saying that, I'm thinking like Sam Adams summer ale. That's already getting shoved down.
I think with the summer ales when they come out, they are more of they have a lemon citrus flavor to them, but there's nothing that stands out about them. And in that case, the lemon doesn't really come out, like the citrus, it's not really pronounced. Yeah. And in Leinenkugel's case with the summer shandy, you do get that lemonade flavor. Like I said, I don't want too much of it, but you also very much get the beer flavor. And I like that. I think I do prefer a summer shandy over a summer ale. Too often, summer ales are just very middle of the road, just not very interesting. I think summer ales are probably my least favorite of the seasonals. Like when you get summer ale, you get the Oktoberfest, you get a winter ale, and then you have some sort of spring, which is normally on the hoppier end of it.
IPAs
hoppier,
something like experimental.
Little bitter, So I think summer ale is probably my least favorite. I do like a summer ale with a little bit of hop flavor to it, something like that. And I think that some places make a good summer ale that really just borders on pale ale territory. But the traditional summer ales are not really my thing. With that said, I think Leinenkugel's does a really good job with the summer shandy, and probably more so than some of the other so-called craft breweries. I mean, when we were talking
they're owned by Miller Coors.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when we're talking like Sam Adams, which isn't even really a craft brewery at this point, they make a shandy as well. It's called the Porch Rocker, and that one's not my favorite. I think that one's on the lower end of a shandy.
I like it, but it's definitely more on the sweet side.
Yeah, it's yes.
You get a very lemonade taste to it.
Yeah, and
the first time I had it, I loved it. I thought it was great, but the more and more I had, I'm like, it's very cloying. It's
there's too much lemonade in there.
You don't really get any beer out of it. It's just like, I'm just drinking.
Yeah.
I might as well just be sipping on lemonade instead of.
Yeah, so probably most people have encountered Leinenkugels or seen it, and definitely give the summer shandy a recommendation. Especially if you're looking for something easy to drink. It's only 4.2%. Goes down very easy. Fairly cheap too, because it is owned by
Miller
Coors, and it's not on the high end of pricing. So 12-pack, what did that run you?
$17.87 with tax and deposit.
Really? So that was expensive for.
What was in that grocery store? Is it the?
Exactly.
one of the beer stores.
So you got to beer store. So it's
a
a
little bit more.
Yeah, upsale a little bit. But if you were like to find it on sale in a grocery store or something like that,
I know, because you like to do that, like Hannaford, when it's on sale, it's like $12.99.
$12.99, which
yeah,
pretty
great
cheap.
deal.
Yeah, it's great.
It's
great.
Same thing, like I said, it's like same thing like a Miller Lite 12-pack.
Yep. So if you haven't had Leinenkugels, it's perfect for now, like especially here in New York State where it's getting warmer. Spring is kind of seceding into summer, and
ours has dragged on though.
Yeah, and we're kind of going through this stage where it's like hot and then cold, 90s and then 50s, and very awkward transitional moments. But for the most part, we're kind of venturing into summer territory at this point. So kind of good to have these around and enjoy a nice little refreshing brew.
Yeah. One of the best parts of summers.
Take them out on the boat.
Or having a campfire, camping.
There you go. Always fun.
Playing volleyball.
Delightful.
Working up a sweat after you just, dove for that spike and saved it. Grab yourself a line.
That's right. That's right.
Refresh yourself. Fuck Gatorade.
Yeah. That's right. All right, so let's move into Halloween H2O territory. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back, and we're going to talk about Josh Hartnett.
Again.
We're going to talk about Joseph Gordon-Levitt getting an and billing in the credits, even though he's barely in the film. We're going to talk about Adam Arkin being in this film for whatever reason he's in it for.
Who?
And we're going to get into
LL Cool J.
LL Cool J, yeah, being in it, and basically stealing the pretty much the only humorous parts of the film. So stick with us. We'll be right back.
Hey everyone, venture into the pop culture cosmos today, where you'll hear our conversations on different topics within the world of movies, TV, video games, comic books, technology, board gaming, and more. You'll also get a taste of some of our other shows within the cosmos as well. So come on and join us each week as we delve into the pop culture cosmos.
Welcome to the pop culture cosmos.
Check out the Pop Culture Cosmos Show today on the Ace Podcast Network.
All right, so Halloween H2O. Not one of those films that really made an impression on me way back when, and watching it again today, not impressed with it now. I think I probably have brewing a 45-minute rant about certain things in the film, but I'm going to let that go for right now. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. But overall, what do you think of the story in Halloween H2O?
It's fucking miserable.
Wow, don't mince words there.
No, it's not done well at all. It makes no sense. It's absolutely a terrible, terrible, terrible written mess. You could have so easily... All you had to do... See, this is like taking something and then overcomplicating it when you... Like, the simplest idea is the best idea. Mm-hmm. All you had to do is, it's 20 years later, Laurie Strode has been in witness protection since the night of Halloween. And this is her family, and she's dealing with the trauma of it. And then Michael Myers shows up again and starts to stalk and build the tension from there. And the film's not really focused on that at all.
No,
they're more focused on the drama that she has with her son Josh Hartnett, and the antics that go on at the school that she teaches that. Instead of just like, obviously you want some kind of tension between the two to show that she's not over what happened. She's still, suffering from it, and it's been a strain on her relationship with her son and her ex-husband. But it's so poorly done that it's like, you don't feel like when Josh Hartnett's like, that's it, I'm not responsible for you anymore, I can't do this. It's not like, you don't feel for him and you don't feel for her, you're just like, you're both assholes. You're both being assholes, stop it.
Well, I think what you said about not really focusing on Michael so much is really true in this case with Halloween H2O, because you're right, they did muddle and complicate the story unnecessarily, adding this entire school premise to it, which you can tell is grabbed straight from like we need a lot of kids.
We need teens
in this film. Yeah, it's almost like, you know, somebody like a producer was like, who do you got in this film? You got like Jamie Lee Curtis. Okay, well that's kind of a given because, you know, she was in Halloween. But and then you got Adam Arkin as her love interest. Okay. But where like
what?
But like where are the kids? Where are the bad naughty kids that are gonna get slaughtered in this film? And then they just kind of pushed into the film the fact that, okay, this needs to be set at a school. There needs to be some sort of party like going on that shouldn't be happening, where Michael can come in and ruin the party.
Which, by the way, it's not even a fucking party. It's four kids
staying at the school while everybody else goes to Yosemite.
Which, again, it's Halloween, so for the weekend, for a field trip at this private boarding school, they're going to Yosemite Park to camp. What fucking school? You just, middle of the school year, even if it's private school. Oh yeah, we're gonna bust them all out to Yosemite for a camping trip. Nothing going on.
I know. I would be pissed if I was going to Yosemite on Halloween. Whose idea was that? It's like, well, it's Halloween night, and let's keep them out of trouble. We're gonna bust them to Yosemite. Why?
No, I would tell my parents, don't sign that permission.
No, I'm not going to Yosemite.
I'm staying home. Fuck that.
I would not be missing Halloween to ride on a bus to go to Yosemite National Park. It's not. And everybody's so excited about it. It's like, you're excited to be chaperoned to Yosemite National Park with like 75 of your other boarding school mates that you see every single day that now you got to go camping with too? No, that doesn't sound fun. That sounds like a miserable trip. Just drive the bus off the cliff.
Might as well be like National Lampoon's Vacation, like, this is going to be the greatest trip, y'all. All you need is Chevy Chase. Like, we're going to have fun, damn it.
Yeah.
We're going to be a family, damn it.
And everybody's excited about it. I just think, but maybe everybody was just carrying loads of alcohol, loads of drugs, and they're like, well, I don't really care.
And, wild sex. Musical sleeping bags.
Yeah.
Wow, doesn't that sound like fun? Let's have sex in a sleeping bag. All right, like, hold on, yeah. Let's... Especially these kids who I'm sure most of them are like, hey, how does this work? I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
Haven't got the rhythm and flow down. It's like with Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. It's our first time. Where do you want to do it? Sandy Beach.
Sandy Beach. Yeah, it's our first time. Where do you want to do it? Rough ground, rocks underneath the sleeping bag.
No pillow.
My pubes got stuck in the zipper.
Fucking mosquitoes everywhere.
All around, I'm not really sure where the whole camping trip storyline came from on Halloween, but it also seems like a lot of the time, whoever wrote the screenplay, which is I think there was a problematic screenplay writing anyways, because it was shared between... The credits are shared between Robert Zappia and Matt Greenberg, but even so, Kevin Williamson was pulled in to write a lot of this dialogue. So I think that the script is just kind of haphazardly thrown together anyway. But whatever the case, a lot of people forgot that this film takes place on Halloween, I think, which is the main reason why, like, the Yosemite trip seems so out of place.
Maybe that's why they had to, like, when they get to California after showing Dr. Loomis's work partner, the nurse, that got killed in back in Illinois, and they had to show when they get to California, like Pasadena, California, wherever the fuck they are. Then like October 31st, Halloween, and then like leaves that obviously aren't on the ground in October in California,
sunny California,
bristling around, and it's like just in case you don't know. Halloween, because you're not going to see any decorations, you're not going to see really any hints at it. All you're going to see is one trick-or-treat scare from kids, walking by Jamie Lee Curtis in the middle of the fucking day.
Yeah.
Why are these kids, like, not at school? They're, like, walking with their parents, like, down the street while Jamie Lee Curtis is having, like, a introspective thought while she looks into, like, a window of a store and thinks that Michael Myers might be creeping up for her, and then you get that jump scare of Alan Arkin. Adam Arkin. Whatever the fuck. Yeah. Shows how memorable it is.
Now, I think that for the most part, though, the film has a really stupid plot. Not only does it have a lot of unnecessary characters, and the whole idea of the kids going to Yosemite National Park, it doesn't come up at all anymore. It's just a plot scenario to get most of our other characters like Lori and Will, Molly, Charlie, Sarah, and John. All of them have to be alone on campus. That's the only reason. So in that sense, why do they even set it on a campus? If they have to go so far out of the way to say like, well, these kids are going to do something, why not just cut that out entirely, have them set at home or something like that? And it's even scarier because now Michael Myers has somehow found that she just happens to be living in California.
Suburbs of California, yeah.
And found her. That's a little bit more scary than if somebody like became a headmistress. Like even then, you don't if you want to like remain hidden, you don't become a headmistress who in this I mean maybe not in 1998, but in this time period, or maybe they had like a Geocity's website or whatever, but at this time, like now, as a headmistress, you'd probably have an internet profile.
And you're a public figure. Yeah.
You're a public figure. Your salary's going to be known online. You're going to be listed, and your picture's going to be there. So if anybody's, Michael Myers is obviously stalking Facebook now in the future, but even in at that time, any sort of internet presence, any sort of like public knowledge of your accomplishments, you're going to. Somebody's going to find you, so you're not going to be a headmistress. You're going to be like a secretary. Even though the job is shit and you're not making a lot of money, hey, at least you're alive. You don't have a giant butcher's knife stabbed through you like the rest of your family. So, yes, the whole school scenario needs to be cut completely. It's so unnecessary. Adds very little to the film, except that they spend a good 45 minutes setting up the scenario.
Have you noticed that all the films we've done so far are school settings?
Yeah,
every
absolutely.
single one.
Yeah.
Urban Legend, it's not high school, but it's college.
It's college.
Faculty, high school. I know what you did last summer, high school.
Yep.
Halloween H20, high school.
Yeah, it's common for a slasher film, but at this point,
it's the new Camp Crystal Lake.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's in this film. It's just totally unnecessary, considering that for the most part, besides how like Josh Hartnett gets heavy billing in this film, it's more Laurie's film again. It's she is the protagonist in the sense, and it's not like Michael Myers is stalking John. He doesn't really care about. John's in the way. He'll kill John just because. Again, he's part of the family.
Does he know that, though?
No, he probably not. It's just more kids, and he's like, well, fucking get these kids out of the way.
Goddamn.
Yeah, there's always kids where I'm going. It's so annoying.
That'd be great with, like if they come out in the new Halloween, just make it, like, old man Michael Myers, like, goddamn kids!
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much what he's like, because they're always just kind of in the way. He doesn't even really, just get out of his way, and maybe he won't even kill you. In this film, you see, he was able to steal a purse with some car keys in it. Doesn't kill them. Doesn't kill the woman or her child. Really, it's pretty much out of character for him.
And wouldn't that be so absurd just to see a kid's taking a shit in this rundown... What looks like... Apparently it's a main highway, but it looks like a fucking dirt road that somebody be running moonshine on, and like...
There happens to be like an abandoned bathroom and information station there. Yeah. And that is absurd. Because, first of all...
You expect like the Duke boys to come down that road like, oh, it looks like the Duke boys are getting chased by Boss Hog again.
We gotta imagine, what has Michael been doing? Has he been walking the entire way from Illinois?
No, he took that car.
Well,
the whole reason he swapped cars is because I'm assuming he went to take a piss or something. This old beat up car broke down, and then
did he have a car in the first place?
Yeah, the car they showed. After he leaves Illinois in that 1970s car, and then drives all the way out there. And then when they pull up, you see that car parked there, and it's supposed to look like it's broken down. That's why he takes their car. Though, to be fair, their car looks like they just hopped it's grapes grapes or wrath, a 1930s pickup van thing. It's you expect someone to be going out to California.
Yeah,
that would be actually no, because the movie does go out to it'd be great if someone went to on the way you got to see Michael Myers' trip to California, and someone's going out to California.
Yeah, no, you're right. He does have a car there, so yeah, he is able to get around, I guess, but.
It would be just as funny if he was hitchhiking across America to get to California.
Right, yeah. At the same time, that is that would be pretty absurd. Just like Michael Myers, like, look at my luck. It's great. It's fantastic. I happen upon somebody who just leaves their car keys and purse sitting out in a toilet stall. I'm just going to grab it. And in that scenario, like, that almost makes Michael Myers in that scene look really not even menacing at that point. Because what he does is he, like, kind of, like, runs through, snatches the purse, and then leaves. Like, and that at that point, he's more of a purse snatcher. And we you never really see Michael run. So, like, when he, like, quickly runs, snatches the purse off the ground, it's kind of like a off-putting scenario for him.
Would have been funny if he's like, oh, I got your purse.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't really make sense with his character at all, because why would he stop? Why would he just not kill at that point? Why would he, I'm just going to take your purse instead? I don't know. It just doesn't make sense for him.
Maybe he saw that little boy. Like, oh, it looks like me when I was a kid.
I think it was a girl, actually. I think it's a girl. Yeah, it's a girl. It's her daughter. Yeah.
That looks like a...
Because she's going in the boys' room.
No, she looked like she had like a guy bob cut.
Yeah, well, that's probably true for 98. She probably did.
No, because that'd be
bob cut.
That'd be like an early 90s thing, not a late night. But still, I had no idea. No,
yeah, it's a girl. Little girl.
I thought it was a little boy.
Yeah. No. But yeah, I mean, so
fuck me.
I just, again, like I said, I think the bigger problem, not just that it's set at a school that's really unnecessary, not that we focus more on the kids than Laurie, even though it's pretty much Laurie's story, and the kids really don't have any sort of bearing on the plot whatsoever, because most of them get killed. And then after that, John is put out of commission, like being stabbed in the leg.
To miss the final act.
Yeah, and basically does nothing the rest of the film. But even more than that, even what doesn't work more than that, is how much the film misses out on at least giving Michael something to do. For most of the film, for a good chunk, 45 minutes, 50, 60 minutes, he's only a presence, a figment of Laurie's mind.
And this is an 86-minute film.
Yeah.
It's not like this is like an hour 40, 2 hours. No. So the fact that he's missing for 2/3, 3/4 of the film.
Yeah.
It's very much like, well, why the fuck is this a Halloween movie?
Yeah, I think, because, like, we do get that initial scene. That's, like, a generic, the killer kills somebody at the beginning to set things off scene. So you get that. Then you get, again, when he's at the service station, the bathroom, and he steals a purse and doesn't do anything. And then you see him multiple times in Laurie's reflections, and at that point, it's explained away. It's either she's been accidentally seeing him as a reflection, it's kind of a hallucination, and she's really seeing Will, or she's seeing somebody who looks like Michael, but it's not really Michael, or it's somebody dressed up in a costume. That all is delegitimizing the threat of Michael Myers. None of that really makes the film tense. And when Michael Myers eventually does come to be a threat in the film, those scenes are not tense at all. It's almost like they have negated his presence within Halloween H20. They've made it so that Michael Myers doesn't even really need to be in this film. It could all be a figment of Laurie's imagination.
And that would be a much better film.
Yeah,
it'd be interesting.
It almost feels like that's the way this film is going.
Which would be great, like New Nightmare. Like.
Exactly, because, like, in many scenarios, when Laurie is seeing Michael Myers in her reflection, it's actually Will Brennan. It's actually Adam Arkin's character that's in the reflection that she's seeing. So it almost seems like they're going for this sort of, like, well, it's actually not Michael Myers that's going to come for her, but it's Adam Arkin's character.
But at the same time, that'd be, like, a very, like, scream, like, what a twist, what a twist, like, why, what would be, Adam Arkin's motive to be like, I want,
maybe he's following in Michael's footsteps. I don't know. Like, it just, at that point, I mean, I think it would be a little bit more interesting than what we get.
It would, but at the same time, like, it'd be like, you got some explaining to do, movie.
Well, you have Kevin Williamson's presence on this film as a, secret screenwriter. So it's not out of the question. And if that's the case, if it was not intentional to make his character seem just a little bit weird.
And he is weird and creepy.
And he's weird and creepy, and he's constantly being shown as Michael Myers, but it's actually him. What was the point of it? Why do that? Why have that juxtaposition of, it looks like Michael Myers, but no, she's just seeing it in Adam Arkin's character. Why? I think that's the biggest issue, is that there's never any reason for what is happening in Halloween H20.
It'd be like a very Rob Zombie twist, find out I'm actually Michael Myers. I am your brother. I like incestuous relations.
Yeah, no, I don't think that flies, but I think that there's those plot lines and that strangeness that doesn't really add up, and it just seems like the script is thrown together and someone was like, let's throw that in there, and maybe she's seeing Michael and other things, and we'll just go with it. Does it make sense? Not really, but let's go with it. But yeah, my biggest complaint, besides what I haven't talked about yet, which is my biggest complaint, and I'll talk about that in a second. Might get my rant off, but one of my big complaints is that Michael just doesn't have a presence here. It's just totally unnecessary. There's no tension whatsoever in it. I don't even think for the most part we don't see any kills on screen. There are very little kills on screen.
That's the last one.
And honestly, Steve Miner, who does have some experience directing slasher films like Friday the 13th Part 2, Friday the 13th Part 3, he just doesn't do much with the tension with Michael Myers as a character. Michael Myers being present should be enough. This should be enough to instill some fear in people who have seen Halloween before, especially the original one, Halloween 1 and 2, maybe 4 and 5. If they've seen those, that should be enough to just have him there as a silent presence. It's where you're feeling the tension.
You could get away with the whole he's not there really doing anything until the very end. If throughout the film you actually see him in the first film stalking and being menacing from behind the scenes. But they don't do that.
No.
You just get to see him in you said at the road stop, and then driving the car around kind of oh.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Mr. Magoo.
Yeah, what's going on at the school? Oh, okay. And then he just shows up,
Yeah.
So, no, he's not meant that, part of a slasher film to work is the killer itself. You have to find either be menacing or root for, and you can't do. You're not doing either.
No.
Like you said, because he's right. He's literally just there.
He's just there.
You could easily just call this film something else. And
I think that is what surprised me now, watching Halloween H20 and thinking about it when I first saw it and stuff, is I kind of remember Michael Myers being more present, but now watching it, you see there's only a handful of scenes where you can actually even remember what Michael Myers does. There's, some of the chase sequences where Laurie's alone at the school, and obviously when he kills all the teens off, but that is an insanely fast moment in the film itself anyway, where
because they go bam,
it's bam, there goes two of the kids, and that's all that happens anyway. I honestly want to say that Halloween H20 probably has one of the lowest body counts in the series. I can only think of 5.
No, you got the 2 kids and the nurse in the beginning.
Yeah.
You got.
Oh yeah, that's okay. 3 right there.
So
yep.
7.
So
no,
yeah.
8. 8. I lied because the paramedic.
Yep.
So 8
in the Yeah. So that's a very low, actually a low body count. Yep. I would say, especially for some of the latter Halloween films. Yeah. It's low. Most of those deaths happen off screen. Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character, which we haven't really talked about yet, but he gets an and billing. In the opening credits.
There's 4 of them get and. You get and introducing Josh Hartnett, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and LL Cool J.
Yeah. And Joseph Gordon-Levitt gets probably a minute on screen. A minute! He's on screen for that initial intro, and then he gets killed. Ice skate to the face.
Don't see it.
You don't see it. You only see the aftermath, which really is pretty veiled anyway, because it's kind of dark. You can only really see the face itself and maybe a little bit of the skate. But that, yeah, him getting an and credit at the beginning of the film is just basically like, hey, did you watch Third Rock from the Sun? Check this out. He's in there. But, yeah, Joseph, that's crazy to me. But,
they were just throwing names, like, hoping, like,
yeah,
maybe someone, like, you know, like, ooh. And like you said, no, you're right, because all he does is he plays, like, stereotypical high school teen douche. He's like, yeah, it's the late 90s, so hockey's kind of still a thing, right? Mighty Ducks 3?
Yeah. So, but that's an off-screen death. You have,
his other friend, Tommy, or Tony, Tony,
off-screen death. You do get to see a little bit of the nurse's death, but it's slight. I mean, you don't really, it's not, I mean, it's kind of like just a generic stabbing. And then the rest of it, you have Sarah and Charlie, who are pretty much killed off screen. Charlie's definitely killed off screen. He gets his throat slit, but there's nothing really.
No, it's just like,
you just kind of see it in the elevator after. And Sarah, she gets stabbed a couple times, but it's nothing.
But they don't show the stab. They just show like a psycho type thing.
Yeah.
You know,
it almost feels like there just wasn't any budget for special effects at this point either. Because there's nothing here that really stands out. So it's very disappointing.
The only one you really get to see is Adam Arkin getting stabbed. Which, by the way, is fucking hilarious because he gets stabbed and then, like, Michael Myers with just the butcher's knife in the guy is, like, deadlifting him, like, with one hand. This 200-pound man, like, stabs him in the side. Is like, lifting him up with a knife. The knife, his arm's not, like, shaking or anything, and the knife's not fucking, you know, breaking.
It's awesome.
It's fucking hilarious.
Those are gym goals. I work on that
I want to be able to stab somebody and then lift them up with a knife and, you know, with one hand.
I work on that every day I go to the gym. Yeah, but other than, like, even those, not impressive.
No, and then when Laurie at the end cuts off
Michael's head.
An air quote that.
Yeah.
They don't tell you.
No, not in this
But
film.
you know.
That's not Michael.
Yeah, well, you know, because obviously if all the shit he's taking, you think one little whack with an axe is gonna lop his head. No, you'd probably be like a fucking redwood tree, an oak tree, be sitting there like chopping for, like, hold on, you son of a bitch. You know, if a van pins you against a tree after tumbling down a hill, and your fucking intestines were pushed out your asshole from, like, the force of that impact, and obviously maybe a whack with an axe to the head, it might take a couple of.
That's another thing about how the film ends.
That's just stupid.
If he's not the supernatural Michael, this is just the paramedic.
Yeah, why? Yeah, why?
How the fuck does he survive all of that? He gets thrown out a window.
Crushed larynx.
Yeah.
Which you see in Resurrection. It's,
yes.
Like, this is how it actually happened. Michael swapped, crushed his larynx so he couldn't talk. And
yeah.
Which, by the way, you got a crushed larynx, you're going to be wheezing pretty, like, as, if you're trying to breathe through your mouth, like, gasping for air, because you.
But I don't know how just a normal paramedic would have survived that. Thrown out the windshield, from what you see in Halloween H2O, thrown out a windshield, run over by a car, or run over by a van, driven off a cliff, van falls on man, pins him to a tree. He would just be dead. Just totally dead. Doesn't make sense. But that's neither here nor there, because in this film you're just meant to think that it's Michael, so I guess that's Halloween Resurrection's issue. Is that how are we supposed to believe that?
Yeah, how to write yourself out of that corner.
Yeah, that's right. But I just, nothing about this is impressive or interesting. And that's the biggest problem with Halloween H2O. But my biggest pet peeve about Halloween H2O is that there's just no fucking Halloween in it. It's just not Halloween whatsoever. You see a couple of things. The initial first part does take place on Halloween. And a couple jack-o'-lanterns are dispersed here and there. There's a drawing on a map that has a jack-o'-lantern on it. And the characters tend to bring it up like inauthentically, like why would they say it? But like, I can't believe this is the first Halloween I'm spending together. It's like, what? No one talks like that. No one says like, this is my first Halloween with you. No one gives a crap about that sort of thing. They're like, oh, this is your first birthday together. This is our first anniversary together. But no one's like, except for maybe me, no one's like, this is our first Halloween together. We've got to make it special. I've got to like put the Halloween decorations on the wall for you. It's fucking weird. And it feels like that dialogue's written in so we remember, oh yeah,
It is Halloween.
it is Halloween, isn't it? It's October 31st, otherwise known as Halloween. Like you said, why give this film the Halloween franchise name? Why put Michael Myers in it if you're just not even going to adhere to the specific rules of that film franchise? Money, but at least go a little bit above
Try.
and beyond. Yeah, try. Like
at least Leprechaun, like, it's not a good film, but it's trying. You can admire its spirit, because it is like, you know, like, yeah, it's not good, but it's trying. You know, this isn't even trying.
It's my same pet peeve with other films that use holidays for no reason. Like, I was watching Scream Factory just recently released the Blu-ray for RoboCop 3. That takes place on Christmas. Why? No reason. No reason why. It comes up
because of Die Hard.
It comes up like 2 times that there's some Christmas music and you see a tree or some shit, and it's not even apparent that it's Christmas. It's like, why? What is the point? Why go out of your way to like have specific scenes where it's like, yeah, it's Christmas, and then it makes no difference. There's no reason for it, and that just makes me angry. It's like, why do it? Why be that specific, and then throughout the rest of the film, it doesn't really matter. It's the same thing with Halloween H20. At least try. At least go for some decorations. I don't know if like California is all like, we don't really celebrate Halloween. We don't do it big. No one decorates. No one puts up lights. I don't know, but I don't get it. I don't get how they can cut out that entire portion of the Halloween franchise.
Not like that. They don't even like you said. They don't even adhere to the rules of the franchise.
No,
not just basing it off of, you know, the actual holiday, but there's no real, you know, there's no real stalking. There's no real tension built at all through what's going on in the film.
Mm-mm.
There's a total misuse in bastardization of the score in this.
Yeah, that's another huge issue with the film.
They just sprinkle in at inappropriate times, as you said, you know, Carpenter's theme, like a bus goes by and here, it's like
at this point, are you watching a killer bus movie?
Yeah.
Fucking bus is coming.
Yeah, and then like when Michael is actually trying to do something menacing, there's no like
No,
it's like just like, oh, here's a shitty generic, you know, score of like, and music stings like
it's the most. That is.
There was no thought put into it.
No, there's no thought. Like, it's almost like somebody assembled the score without watching the film. There was just like, well, you know, at 1:30 or no, like 1:15 in the film, we're gonna put this piece of music there, and at 36 minutes, we're gonna put this like little trill on the piano.
At this scene, we're gonna have Creed in it.
Yeah, there's no thought to like putting where to put the score, what happens. Like I said, in no chase sequence with Michael Myers is there any semblance of the original Halloween score.
And not only that, there's not really a chase sequence long enough.
No, to use like the and
then let it draw out, and you know. No, because it's like too busy. Like, oh no, the girl's trying to run away because her leg got caught, and all of it. Like within 5 seconds, Michael's just like stab. Okay, moving on.
Yeah.
You know, next.
Yeah, if anything, Michael's on a mission.
Yeah, he's Robbie Fisher from Hey Arnold, the Chinese checkers player. After every person he beats, is like, next victim.
Yeah, he's not like in some of the other ones. He's like actually sort of seeming to have fun with it,
reveling.
Like chasing them slowly. No, in this scene, he's just like, let's just get this over with. It's been 20 years. It's fucking time to put this to rest now. No,
not only, but again, like going like just off like the franchise. There's like nothing. Like I said, this could have been like, you could have done a more serious Halloween film, because again, by 4 I wouldn't say is off the rails. 5's off the rails.
It's off the rails.
6 is the train's on fire and burning. Not saying technically quality-wise, but I'm saying like continuity and where the story was going. Like
Yeah.
all of a sudden, but
When you're pulling Paul Rudd in to a Halloween film,
and
it's off the rails.
And it's about like a cult and shit.
Yeah.
It's like, all right,
Whoa. Yeah.
But so this is your chance to do a soft reboot.
Yeah. I agree, and
and not only that, but to do a soft reboot. Because again, what a perfect time to do a soft reboot on this film. It's
20 years later.
20 years later. These films are popular again because of Scream and, So you could, again, perfect time to do a soft reboot. You put in references. No, I'm not saying like, here's a reference.
Yeah.
But be really smart and clever about it so other, real Halloween fans will get those bits. Even like you could even put like very obvious ones of like him like peeking around a bush and then like disappearing. Like that would be like like a very like, oh, here's a like they have like one of the references like Mr. Sandman.
Yep.
And I wouldn't really consider that like a great reference to Halloween. Because I totally forgot that's in like the first film. Because I remember more like he's the boogeyman, not Mr. Sandman.
Yeah.
So I mean that's like the references are very few and far between.
There's the one,
and they're not any good.
I mean, there's the one where she's like only got a closet to go into.
Yeah.
So she's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
In that one, even in that though, we do see that scene because they give a flashback to that scene earlier in the film. So it's like if you missed that, if you didn't even remember that from the first Halloween, they've got you covered because they want to make sure that reference is known.
No, only that, the opening credits is supposed to be like, oh, this nostalgia going down memory lane, and it's not. It's like fucking shitty newspaper clippings that you really can't read with just generic headlines like Loomis obsessed with Michael Myers killer, and it's not, and then with like a very poor like version of like the Halloween theme.
Yeah.
And, just, dubbed over audio of, Loomis talking. It's terrible. That is not a way to...
Paired with PowerPoint credits.
Yeah. So, it's not done well at all. After, you can have him, brutally murder these people, and, the cops show up, wow, I guess he's back. And then you could have, go, to the traditional, the first 2 films, have the jack-o'-lantern, and that would be, cool. That would be, all right, now we're, getting back into it. Not this campy, Miramax presents newspaper clippings.
Well, reading the original, what the production notes were for Halloween H20 and what they hoped that it would be, getting John Carpenter back, getting Jamie Lee Curtis back, really trying to, not just a soft reboot, but at least do a sort of reunion. It's clear that did not occur. John Carpenter didn't really want to be a part of this film after they wouldn't pay him his fees and everything else like that. So you kind of have to imagine that at that point when the reunion part of this started to fall apart.
And not only that, Donald Pleasance is dead.
Donald Pleasance is dead, yep. When the reunion part of this started to fall apart, you can kind of see where they didn't really know where to go from here. And also, you have to kind of imagine that John Carpenter was really hesitant to give the film the rights to the score at all. So it almost seems like something in the contract was like, you can use the score, but it can't be within any scene where Michael's chasing after. It can't be reminiscent of the original Halloween. You can't have a score that uses my music in the tense scenes that I already did.
I don't want to be remembered with this shit.
Exactly. So it's like, instead of putting that in chase sequences or something, we'll just use it so that people recognize it, but we're going to use it when there's a bus going by.
When the kids are eating lunch.
When kids are eating lunch or something like that. It's a very... I have to imagine that that's what happened, because otherwise it makes no sense why someone would flub that so much. Even somebody who knows nothing about soundtracks and just knows a small amount of Halloween, if they were to be asked, for this new Halloween movie, what would you put during a chase sequence? This would be the original Halloween score. What else would you put there? It's so iconic.
Well, not only that, like you said, you don't have to be a soundtrack composer and putting it all together to know, like, if you watch this film, like, music doesn't really fit with what's going on.
Yeah.
It's just like, it totally, like, you know.
Yeah,
it totally looks like it was a last minute thought and like, oh shit, we forgot to add music.
The tense sounds in the original score used when the kids are like getting on the bus to leave Yosemite is some of the most awkward and unnecessary moments because nothing happens at that scene. Jamie Lee Curtis is making a phone call. Kids are leaving on a school bus. The school bus is pulling away. Nothing bad happens to those kids on the school bus because they're going to Yosemite. They're going to have some fun camping with their friends. Nothing bad happens to them. Why is there a tense score there? It totally offsets the mood. It doesn't put the viewer in like a tense mood or anything. It just makes them question
Michael Myers is going to get on the bus and go camping with them.
Yeah, it just makes you question like, why did this come out of left field? But I think another big thing with how this film just really misses out on pretty much every cue that it can is just all of those scenes that are misused and not generating tension. Like, why show all of the stuff with Jamie Lee Curtis talking to the entire school? It adds nothing. It's just pushed into this film for no reason. Just totally
Because remember,
unnecessary.
if you have sex and you do drugs and drink booze underage, you're the boogeyman's gonna get you.
That's right.
You know.
This film even misses out on the nudity. There's just none there either.
Well, it is a 90s one, so they don't...
Yeah,
they don't.
Still.
There's none in Scream.
No.
There's none in I Know What You Did Last Summer.
No.
There's none in Urban Legend. Though they talk about, you know, swallowing cum.
Yeah.
And it's swimming around in their stomach.
The Faculty's got some, though. That one's got you covered. But, oh man, just all around perplexing decisions in Halloween H20.
The casting is a very...
Yeah, it's very strange. Getting LL Cool J in there, I guess, was probably one of the best decisions they made. You wouldn't really expect that, but he at least is a little bit funny. It's pretty much the only humorous aspects of the film. And I don't know, I guess...
He seems like he's the only one that's actually having fun on this film.
True.
Nobody acting on this film looks like they care about this at all.
No.
Like, Jamie Lee Curtis almost seems like she was late on her rent. She needs that money.
Yeah.
So that's why she's there.
And her guzzling vodka does not seem out of place in this film. It probably just
it wasn't in the script.
Yeah,
She just happened to bring it on set one day and just like, Jamie, what are you doing? Shut up.
She's like,
okay.
Adam Arkin has to kiss my breasts. Okay.
Over
I'm
and over.
I'm gonna need the vodka.
Yeah, and as we said, like Adam Arkin, it's like, what did he put in his script? I want to kiss Jamie Lee Curtis at every opportunity because he is full blown throughout every scene with her, just not like a kiss.
Yeah, it's like a full blown fondling.
Yeah,
at every moment. Yeah.
I'm gonna squeeze your tit. Twist it a little, tease and twist it a little bit while I'm, giving you a hickey. That good? No. Okay, we're good. It's in my contract, so.
Yeah, it's bordering on groping, and it's an uncomfortable experience. Certainly uncomfortable.
There should be an interviewer to ask her that, she goes to one of the cons for Halloween. So Jamie Lee Curtis, what was it like having Adam Arkin fondle you in Halloween H20? Was that pleasant? Was that scripted? Did he just do it?
He just did it.
Was it because it's the 90s, so you're like, I can't say anything, I'll just let this go.
Yeah.
Josh Hartnett is, like in The Faculty, miserable.
Forgettable.
And
barely in it.
But also, at the same time, I would say, compared to The Faculty, though, he's so much better in that. And it's not like he's even great in The Faculty. He's one of the worst actors in The Faculty. Yeah. But this, he's even worse. He's just... They're all wooden. All the teens are terribly wooden. Michelle Williams is just I'm kind of here.
Again, yeah, unmemorable. And I think that's has more to do with the script. It's just that they didn't really know what to do with teenage characters in this. It was kind of like at odds with the rest of the plot. And so it was like, well, instead of focusing on one or the other, they had to split their attention between the two. And at that point, it was like, there's no theme to this now. It's like, what do we do with this? I don't know.
But yeah, out of everyone in here, the only one that's memorable is LL Cool J.
Yeah.
Just because he's funny. And he looks like he is actually enjoying, playing the role. Like, he's like, okay, my rap career is basically essentially over. I've gained like 50 pounds. I'm no longer the ripped dude I once was because I've been eating too many Doritos. Those new 3D Doritos, the jalapeno cheddar ones. You kids remember those 3D Doritos, right? And the mini M&Ms. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much the same trajectory that Busta Rhymes would have, just not too much longer in Halloween Resurrection.
Ice Cube.
Yeah.
He wasn't making good, early 90s making good movies. Friday, Boys in the Hood. Early 2000s, rap career is basically not what it used to be. Are we there yet?
Or it could be Ice-T.
He was on Law & Order SVU.
Moving on to Law & Order SVU. It's not a bad gig.
No, it's not. But then
if you're on a Law & Order show, you got a 15 season run.
I was going to say, though, to be fair, SVU compared to the original, which, by the way, a little off topic, but most people like SVU more than the original Law & Order. I love the original much more than
it's
SVU.
It's more set in a courtroom.
No, it's both procedural.
Yeah.
But I think it's a better show. One, because Sam Waterston, hang 'em high McCoy is always going to be, brilliant. But anywho, SVU though, that's kind of like it's such a clusterfuck with the characters because there's just so many fucking,
Yeah.
So many of them. They're like, Richard Belzer's there. Why? He's just there.
True. True.
And the same with Ice-T. Why is Ice-T here? He's just there. But anyhow, there's no one in this film that's like memorable at all. You literally could just take Jamie Lee Curtis out and just put generic, middle-aged female lead in this, and you have it instead of Meg Ryan's coming off one of her romantic comedies like Sleepless in Seattle. Time to do Halloween now.
Pop her in there.
Yeah, just now. Before we give this a rating, 2 more years. Halloween H20.
Yeah.
And this time they get it right. Like, make that the tagline. We promise we'll get this right.
Halloween H20. Now that's a really terrible. But no, there is the Halloween reboot sort of thing coming out, which I do have some I think it could be good.
The poster's cool.
Yeah, I think it could
be. But then again, a lot of those like those reboots that are coming out with Elm Street and stuff.
Yeah.
The posters look cool. That's kind of already suckering me in.
But at the same time, that's become an art design almost. It's like, well, every people can make cool posters now.
No, I know that because trust me, I know that because Ghost in the Shell's poster, that's really cool looking.
Yeah.
I know it's not going to be
what
the thing, but
I do have some. I think it could be good. I think a new Halloween could be good.
Rob Zombie's not involved, so
it's true.
Thank fucking God.
Who knows? Maybe that'll be the Halloween H20 that you're talking about. Could be.
That would be a very miserable name.
It would be. Yeah. You need something better than that. Something better. All right. So on a scale of 1 to 10, tumultuous melons, what do you give Halloween H20?
A 4.
Yeah.
This is a fucking
I think I pretty much agree with that.
This is a boring, miserable film.
As we talked about...
This is just like... I know what you did last summer, because I gave that a 4 too. And how I thought after watching that's a terribly boring and miserable film. After watching both of these, there's no nostalgia. I had much more nostalgia for I Know What You Did Last Summer. But but I still had some for this film. But after watching both of them, they're just miserable, terrible, low-rent slasher films that if it wasn't for the time period, this would be like direct-to-D, like VHS shit.
Right.
This is bad in every sense of the word. And I almost think and you would think, because it's only 86 minutes, that would be like, it'd be like a nice, easy watch. No, it's a chore. It's a chore to get through. And I think if they soft rebooted it, made it an homage to the original, brought back most of the cast, played with so they had, like I said, they had a good idea with like making it about her in the future and stuff, but focus more on that, focus more on building the tension. I would say make it longer too. I think that's also a thing that hurts the film, is the fact that it's so short. There's no time for the character development, and there's no time for the actual slasher stuff. So it's all just smashed together and smashed in there. So
yeah.
I think it would definitely have to be longer. Probably in this instance, it'd have to be 100 minutes to explain how Laurie got to where she is now, how she is with her family, how Michael's out again, what he's actually doing, and then like the
touch on like we brought up, or like we saw as a goof, kind of a goof, is that Jamie is never from 4 and 5. They're just kind of forgotten.
Yeah, 4, 5, and 6 is basically it never happened.
Yeah, kind
just
of
ignore them.
Gone. Yeah.
Like, they're with 3 now.
Yeah, they're with 3. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much a given. Like, 3 never happened for a Halloween film. But yeah, 4 and 5 are gone, too. And pretty much 6. I mean, none of the cult aspect of 6 is here at all. It's like, probably, at that point, they were like, yeah, we're getting rid of that. That's not
Maybe
canon.
that's not a good
canon.
idea. Yeah. We were trying to pull a Jason Goes to Hell, but it didn't quite work out.
Not canon there. Yeah, I agree with you. I would probably give it a 4. I definitely think that I think it's worse than I Know What You Did Last Summer. I don't have nostalgia for Halloween H20 either. Although I love the Halloween series, this film is just not good at all.
And it's rated a 51 on Rotten Tomatoes.
True, yeah. I don't know where those came from.
51! And people say it's one of the best, if not the best sequel. That's sad.
Well, some of the older reviews that are included on Rotten Tomatoes, they don't get rated accordingly. So it could be like an error with accumulating the reviews. Yeah. And it may be a lot lower than that.
But still, that's like...
Yeah. I don't know, though.
What's on IMDb right now?
I'm kind of curious to look back and see how it was rated and reviewed in 1998.
5.7 on IMDb.
Yeah. I'm kind of curious to see like how it was rated and reviewed. But I mean, at the same time, on IMDb, Halloween 4 gets a 5.9. Halloween 5 gets a 5.2, and I would say Halloween 5 is way better than Halloween H20. The Curse of Michael Myers gets a 5. And Halloween Resurrection comes in at 4.1.
Well, what's 2?
2 gets a 6.6.
Yeah, see, they're wrong.
And Halloween 3 gets a ridiculous 4.6. Way underrated.
People who didn't watch the movie.
Yeah, way underrated on that one. But yeah, I mean, it is surprising with the 51%, but at the same time, I really am curious to see how this was reviewed. This did feature a Creed song, so maybe that boosted the score a little bit back in the time.
And this is like before Creed was really big too.
Yeah, this one has what's the song called?
The Creed song?
Yeah, what's the Creed song?
Generic Scott Stapp.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was called.
Like Christian, Christian like Pearl Jam music is what Creed is, but except not as good as Pearl Jam at all.
But I don't know. It's whatever it is. It ties in with the theme because it's something about like dying or death or something like that. But it's super cheesy in the when it's used in the film because it actually does get an appearance like during the film, and then it also ends with the credits. So.
Before the Halloween theme.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Creed comes in before the Halloween theme. Maybe that's the reason for the boosted score, though, at the time.
What would you think of that drumming on that Creed song?
Oh, it was terrible. Tuned totally poorly. Horrible. Yes. Yes, Creed.
Snare
Whenever
drum-
Creed shows up in a film in the soundtrack, you know, like you're in for a bad time.
I remember with Scream 3 at when renting it on the VHS after the movie. You could stick around at the end of the VHS in the credits. You could see Creed's video. What if?
Are they featured in Scream 3 or
Yeah,
was
well,
it just
yeah.
on the soundtrack?
No, it's. I think it's featured because in the film. Because again, like because it's. Yeah, I think the end credits is one because it's during the end credits. And then you get the music video at the end. The whole music video is from Scream. Like, you got Ghostface.
Yeah, I do know.
You got, like, Scott Stapp standing on a car, like, what if? It's fucking...
Well, that's funny, too, because, like, Scream soundtracks, they do not hold up. Like, looking back, or, like, coming back to them now, is they do have a lot of cringy songs. It very much
No,
90s.
I think that... No, but I think that makes that... That's, like, enjoyable, though. Like that. Like,
you're like, oh, yeah.
You know, like this doesn't. This has Creed and that's it, and that's like, oh, that's what makes it cringy because it's not like a bunch of Scream has a bunch of them, so it makes it more acceptable.
This only has Creed. It was like, hey, can you throw us in there?
Like Urban Legend has like Offspring and a bunch
that
of them.
one's at least a little more fun.
Yeah, so it's like you can have fun with it. Like like a bunch of them. Like that's great. But if it's like it's just like an Offspring song for like, the kids aren't all right. And like, oh, okay, I remember that. And then you move on.
I feel like there's something going on with Creed in this film because, like, even in that scene where they're listening to Creed, it's kind of a weird time to be listening to Creed. They're supposed to be having a romantic moment with candles lit and everything, and they're listening to this Creed song.
Songs about Jesus.
It's not really an appropriate time for the Creed song. But it's very much featured. I'm almost surprised that someone was like, I like the song, man. What is it? Because it feels almost like it's an advertisement for like Creed's new album coming out.
You know what would have been an appropriate song for that? Song from Leprechaun 2 when the kids are like watching the TV.
Yeah.
Because that's at least like kind of like, downbeat, like romantic, like early 90s rock. So that would have fit perfect. Like,
yes.
So
good soundtrack choices all around for Halloween H20. All right, anything else you want to add before we close this out and end our official 90s slasher month?
No, I think said everything that can be said.
Alrighty. Next week we're gonna be back with it's still a 90s slasher film, and it is we're calling it a bonus episode, I guess. We haven't announced it. Not gonna announce it here. The hint that I gave is we have mentioned this film before. We have mentioned our interest in covering it, and you can head back to some of our older podcast episodes and listen and try to let us know what you think the film is that we're going to be covering. Normally I do put out the image for the podcast episode like a day or two before it goes up. So I don't know if I'm going to do that this time. What do you think? Should I do that? Should I put it out early? Or should I wait?
You can do whatever you think's right.
I think I may put it out early. So I may do it like next Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. I'll put out the image so that you can kind of have a clue as to what's coming out for the episode. But we're not announcing it any earlier than that. So let us know what you think it is. And we'll tell you if you're right or wrong. You can check us out on iTunes. That's where mostly everybody listens to our podcast. But if you have any other kind of podcast app like Stitcher or you use SoundCloud or anything else, we're on all of those. If you have like a Google or Android phone, we also are on the Google Podcast app. So anywhere that you can listen to podcasts, we're up on there. Leave us a nice review if you can, and a 5-star rating. We really appreciate that. You can check us on Facebook at facebook.com/BloodandBlackRum podcast. Like us on there, comment, do what you got to do on our Facebook page. It's open for you. We're on Twitter at Blood and Black Rum. Give us a tweet, shout out, follow us. I do follow back, so if you're looking for followers, You got me. We have a website. It's bloodandblackrumpodcast.wordpress.com. Head out on over there. You can listen to all of our podcast episodes. We also have some advertising on there and some sponsors that do help us fund the podcast. So if you have any interest in a Beer of the Month club, you can join up through that, and we get a cut of that profit as well. So we appreciate that. We have a couple other sponsors as well, so click on those, and that helps us out to keep this podcast running. We also have a Patreon page. It's patreon.com/bloodandblackrumpodcast. That is a donation, and you can donate every month. That helps us out with podcast fees as well. So we appreciate anything that you can give for that. And finally, you can email us, bloodandblackrumpodcast@gmail.com. Let us know what you think of the podcast. If you have any suggestions for us, let us know. Any movies that you want us to cover. And also, just give us some feedback. Tell us what you like, what you don't like, and we'll make some changes to the podcast format. So let us know. Thank you for listening. We'll be back next week to officially end the 90s slasher month with the secret episode. But for now, take care.
See you later.